guys? Welcome back to yet another video. This is a video that's been long awaited, more than the first start, it seems like. You know, everybody's question is how much is it gonna take to put this motor in my car? So before we continue with the video, guys, I need y'all support. I need y'all to drop a thumbs up down below. This video is gonna take me a little while to edit and everything. So I need you guys to hit that thumbs up down below if you guys appreciate the video. It's free, you know, help your boy out. Before we start, I just want a little disclaimer, is that like most of the parts on this motor are marketplace buys. So like if you guys can buy marketplace stuff, try to do that, man. You will save a ton of money. Without dragging this video on, you guys want to know real quick how much I paid to swap this car without flipping parts? Just all, like if I didn't sell anything, 15 grand. 15 grand, and this car has AC, power steering, it has all of this. Now, with flipping parts, I'll show you guys what I did to get the price all the way down to 8,500. Yes, I said 8,500. It's around that mark, but I mean, we can add a little bit, a couple $100 for tax and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm into this for 8,500, and you cannot beat that, man. I will not be able to get a built motor and a supercharger and fuel system for 8,500 bucks. For this, the cost of this right here. So let's go ahead and get on into it. I have a complete part list here that I made from every single piece of the puzzle that I bought for this car. So I'll just go ahead and make my way down the list, and I'll keep a little card up here to show how much that we've spent. I was actually going to, you guys can probably see the motor right there. That is a Gen 1 short block, okay? Now those short blocks are kind of sought after because they have the big head stud. So what I was going to do was rebuild that, you know, put some badass rods and some badass pistons in there because it has a spun rod bearing. I really don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet. I might send it out, have to get built, something like that for this one in the future. But it has the big head stud. So what I was gonna do was do that, source some heads, source everything else like that. So I actually already had that in my possession. So I was looking for heads, and my boy JD 2 Valve, he's the one that hooked me up with the Gen 2 heads, right? So those heads needed a valve job because something happened with his timing components where they skipped a tooth. And I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and purchase them off of you. You know, don't know what's wrong with them. I'll send them off to a machine shop, this and that. But then I got to thinking, man, I was like, if I do that, you know, I'm gonna have to source every single sensor, wiring harness, which I did the wiring harness anyways, but valve covers, timing cover, intake manifold, yada yada yada. I would have to source everything because that is a bare short block. So I figured, man, I would just cut my losses and sell the heads, which Gen 2 heads are very hard to come by. You guys will see why I sold them for what I sold them for. And there was a little mishap in shipping, which kind of saved me some money. So no scamming going on here. I will say exactly what happened. I put insurance on the shipping. That's exactly why I got paid what I got paid. But yeah, let's go ahead and start. So I got the Gen 2 heads from JD for 450 bucks, which is a steal. Like, shout out JD, bro. He hooked me up for those. It's a steal for Gen 2 heads, even if they're, you know, they had a little, they needed a valve job and we didn't know what was wrong with them. So that was a steal. So I went all the way up there, or went all the way down there, and picked them up for him for 450 bucks. So knowing that they had a bent valve or something like that, I posted them up for like 1,500, and some dude offered me 1,200 bucks for them. So I went ahead and took it, and 1,200 bucks. So UPS near me, they only put like $100 of insurance on there. So I added some insurance to them just in case they got damage in shipping. I'll post up the pictures of the carnage. They got damage in shipping pretty bad. One of the heads was salvageable. So the guy was like, hey man, I'll buy one of the heads off of you for 600 bucks. And then, you know, the other one, I was like, junk it, do whatever. I got insurance on it, but it took me a couple months to get my money back. So I ended up selling one head for 600 bucks, right? I already profited $200 from what I bought from JD. And then the insurance that I put on UPS, they ended up cutting me a check for 1,500 bucks. So I profited $2,100. So that one, you know, it saved my butt pretty good. So I'll get into, you know, all the parts that I bought for flipping. So I bought a Boss intake manifold for 200 bucks. I bought a Gen 2 throttle body with fuel rails for $217, which I needed a Gen 2 Mustang throttle body to run the Gen 2 control pack. You cannot use a Gen 3 or Gen 1 throttle body. You need a Gen 2 throttle body. I actually been having this for a while, so if any of you guys are watching this and you guys need a throttle body, this is a Gen 3 Mustang throttle body. If you guys need this, you know, Instagram me, comment on the video, I'll hook you guys up with that. So yeah, I got that. Then I got a 18 ported manifold with the carbon intake, which is this setup here. I got this from JD also whenever I picked up the heads from him. I got this setup for 300 bucks, but you can't beat it. If you can run the stock airbox, get the stock airbox to work, definitely run the stock airbox. But I already saw this setup made 460 horsepower on his Gen 2 Mustang motor. So I knew it was tried and true, ready to go. It's already ported, it already has lockouts and all that stuff. So I got it for 300 bucks. Shout out JD for that. So for the fuel system I paid for the fuel lines $127, and then for the fuel fittings I paid $100. Okay, and that's all I needed for my fuel system. Now for the motor, right? The motor supposedly had 40,000 miles. This is a 2016 F-150 motor. Okay, so I bought this from a good buddy of mine, BJ. You guys have seen him on the channel. He's done work. He swapped the transmission in this car. We worked out a deal for this motor. Whenever I told him that I was gonna use that motor, but I wanted a complete long block, he was like, hey man, I have this motor here for you if you need it. So I put a deposit down on it. I didn't want him to get rid of it. He ended up holding it for me, a good friend. And I ended up buying the motor and transmission for $5 grand, which is kind of a lot for an F-150 motor, but he assured me that it was a newish motor. And if you guys saw the breakdown of the motor, you know, he did not lie. There was very, very minimal oil staining, and this motor is very healthy. The oil pressure is great on it. It runs awesome for a Gen 2 F-150 motor. Stock cams, guys, stock cams. With 18 manifold, this thing traps 119, 120 miles an hour on E85. It's making some great power. So it's in good shape for an F-150 motor. So I bought this and the 6R80 for $5 grand. Like I said, everything was pretty brand new. So I sold the transmission for $1,000 because we have a Hanlon-built TR3650 behind this motor, which I bought when I had the 2-valve in preparation for this, right? So I had to get a inline radiator field cap for the motor because I didn't want to run a degas bottle. So that's what you have to do to don't run a degas bottle. And you just cap off your radiator over here, and then you're good to go like that. And then you just cap off the top, which I put my coolant temp sensor up there, and then you're good to go. So that's what I did the radiator field cap for. Then I sold my 2-valve motor, which if you guys have a good 2-valve motor, you guys can get $500 to $1,000 easily for a 2-valve motor. It's in great shape, lower mileage. So mine, I kind of had some mods done to it. So you guys might be saying that I made off like a bandit with this deal, or it was a good price, depending on who you talk to. I think it was a good price. It was a fair price. I posted up the motor for $3 grand, which it's kind of a lot for a 2-valve motor, but that motor was tried and true. It had refreshed PI heads on it, new valves. The short block only had 110,000 miles whenever I serviced it. Oil changes were always done. I bought it with 80,000 miles. Oil changes were always done 2,000 to 3,000 miles. Then I had comp cams in it. I paid over like 2,500 bucks for the cams, beehive valve spring retainers and all that stuff installed on that motor. I paid over like 2,500 bucks for the cams alone. So that's why I wanted to get that much money for it. So like I said, the heads were refreshed, it had cams in it. I sold it as a complete long block intake manifold all the way down to the oil pan with long tube headers. So it had the Typhoon intake manifold on there. You could get $500 to $600 for that intake manifold alone. So I think I hooked them up. I think it was a good deal. So I sold my 2-valve motor for $3 grand, which cut a lot of money off of the price tag. So then let's get back into some stuff. I bought a VMP booster pump because I planned on running this fuel setup and a booster pump on pump gas to get some data and to see if I could run this with the supercharged setup, but I didn't want to steer you guys in the wrong direction. I didn't want to play with fire. You know what I mean? Your fuel system is the bloodline of the motor, so I didn't want to play around with fuel system and supercharged stuff, so I ended up getting rid of that later. So I bought the booster pump for $156, which, if you guys are wondering why, it's kind of like $117, $156. It's weird. It's because of PayPal prices and all of that stuff. So I bought the booster pump, which I ended up selling later on. I bought the PBH speed drive from LMR for $758. That was on sale, and I really didn't have the money for it at the time, but LMR was selling it on a discount, so I picked that up for $758. So whenever deals come up like that, guys, and you plan on doing this swap, go ahead and buy it if it's for a good deal. So I got it for $758. That allows you to run your factory modular stuff as far as power steering and AC. So I picked that up for $758. I bought a Coyote 8-bolt flywheel, which is a regular steel flywheel, for 80 bucks. I bought my caster camber plates, my K-member, and my bump steer kit on Marketplace with the coilovers and all of that stuff for $1,000, which is really a great price. Actually, from the guy that bought my uncle's 2-valve, my uncle's supercharged 2-valve. He hooked me up with that. So big shout out to him, man. And shout out my boy Nate for picking it up. Nate Transport. And then I ended up getting my BBK swap headers off of Marketplace, which was kind of sketchy because the guy that had no paperwork or anything like that on the header, so I was just going out on a whim and hopefully they worked. So those were 400 bucks, and I ended up getting those Cerakoted later on, just to preserve them a little while, because they were just chrome headers. They were already starting to get a little surface rust on them, so I ended up paying to get those Cerakoted, which I was still under the price of buying brand new headers, which those headers would have rusted later on, you know what I mean? So that was a good deal there. Then I paid my uncle 500 bucks to pull the motor, the 2-valve motor. So I think I sold the motor for $3 grand. So subtract 500 from that, we're at 2,500 for the complete motor. I paid my uncle 500 bucks to pull it. I ended up buying a brand new throwout bearing for 70 bucks. I bought the UPR battery relocation to relocate the battery so I could run the cold air intake in the factory location. So I put the battery in the back. That was $170. And then I bought the UPR 1-inch K-member spacers, which it drops the K-member down to have some better clearance. I paid $150 for those. Then I bought the UPR 3/8 motor mount shims. I paid $30 for those. Offset rack bushings were $25. And then I bought some oil pump gears and a crank sprocket. The oil pump gears and crank sprocket, I paid about $530 for those, which you don't need, guys, unless you guys are going to be pushing big power. The motor was already out. I had to remove the timing cover to change it to a Mustang timing cover. Since this is an F-150 motor, I have to put a Mustang timing cover on there to run the PBH bracket. So I figured I might as well, while I'm taking the timing cover off, everything is there, I might as well do it. I subscribe to the notion on not doing oil pump gears, guys. I think it's a gimmick. I think it's one of those things that they put out there to scam you, you know what I mean, or to scare you. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want with that information. Then I bought a brand new Mustang crank pulley, 16 GT crank pulley from Ford. I paid $158 for that. So I needed a Mustang crank pulley because those have a 6-rib and 6-rib outer, inner and outer sheath. On the F-150, I believe it's like 6 and 4. So to run this stuff and to run the supercharger kit, you have to have a Mustang crank pulley. So then a couple adapter fittings for my coolant temp sensor to go into the block was $17. My throwout bearing was $19. I bought some heat wrap for the starter and stuff like that. That was $19. The Wix filter for my fuel system was $50. My engine stand bolts to put the motor on the engine stand and stuff like that was $18. So this is when I go into flipping stuff to start cutting the price down a little bit. I sold my MSD coil packs I sold my coil pack wires, my regulator, my injectors for $260. And then I bought a modified engine harness. There's a reason why I didn't make a video on the engine harness. I want to make this clear. I bought an engine harness modified to run all of my factory gauges, my oil pressure, my RPM, all of that stuff. The reason I didn't make a video on it and the reason I'm not gonna shout this guy out is because I paid $557 for this modified engine harness and got no support from the guy. So I'm not gonna shout him out. I'm not gonna say who I got it from. If you wanna do your due diligence and find out who can do it for you, you can do it by yourself. LMR just posted a video, which is, it's very good on how to do it. But if you guys want to ask me on Instagram, hey, is this guy good? And I'll tell you yes or no. But yeah, I paid $550 for that. I was asking him questions. He was leaving me on red. So I do not recommend that guy. I'm not going to post this stuff out there. I'm not going to put him on blast either. It's not the type of guy I am. If you guys want to verify with me first before y'all buy something, message me on Instagram, comment down below. I'll let you guys know. But yeah, $550 for that is definitely worth it. I just wish he was better with his customers. Shout out JD2 Valve, he's the one that helped me with this. If you guys have seen his video, I got the same kit from him, the same guy. So JD walked me through it more than that guy did. And I didn't even pay JD no money, so shout out JD. So yeah. And then, so I sold the bat for 200 bucks after I bought it for, after I bought it for $150, so profited $50 on that. Then I sold my Boss manifold for $250, made $50 on that. Then I sold my GT350 fuel rails that came with my intake manifold. I sold those for $128. The reason I didn't run those is because the GT350 fuel rail comes with a fuel pressure sensor on the side that I couldn't get to work, and it had like a very weird thread pitch. So I didn't want to plug it or anything like that. I just got some stock F-150 rails and that works good. So I sold those for $128. Then I bought a pedal bracket for the pedal. I ended up paying $60 for that on Marketplace. Then I got some header bolts on Marketplace also for 20 bucks. Oil pressure fitting and bug sprayer. I bought that for 60 bucks to prime the oil system. I ended up not using it. This motor was used. There was oil inside the motor. I said, screw it, man, let's start this motor up. So I didn't even end up using that. So then this is the big money right here. I bought a Gen 2 control pack from Power by the Hour. Definitely recommend them. They've been helpful all along the way. I paid $18.90. All right, guys, had to take a little break. The GoPro is overheating. That's never happened to me before. I was surprised that happened. So yeah, I bought the Gen 2 control pack for $18.99. Then I had to get an F-150 modified engine harness to be able to run a Mustang calibration. So if you guys are going to be running a F-150 motor with a Gen 2 Mustang control pack, you have to get a modified engine harness from PBH. If you guys are going to keep the stock cams, if you guys are putting Mustang cams in it, doing all of that, which I don't recommend, it's not worth the hassle. If you guys are going to do that, then y'all could bypass the $400 on the engine harness. But if you guys are keeping the stock long block, you need an F-150 modified engine harness, which that's $400. Then I bought a clutchless pulley for 90 bucks, which I ended up not using. I still have that brand new in box. If you guys need that, hit me up, I'll hook you up. The clutchless pulleys for the alternator. So my alternator that I bought already came with one, so I didn't need it. So I still have it here in a box. Then I got the hot water tubes. So the hot water tubes allows you to run your factory radiator lines here and then here. I'm sorry, heater core lines. So it allows you to use regular hose and then it goes back to your heater core. So PBH, shout out PBH for that, man. That setup was badass. So that was only 90 bucks, and the heater, the hose kit was $63. Then I had to buy an oil cooler delete. So that's just a little thread that screws into the factory block. That was $9. And then I had to get BBK O2 extensions for the headers. Those are absolutely needed, guys. Those are $68 if you guys are gonna be running long tube headers. Absolutely needed. So the PBH bracket kit that I talked about earlier, that was actually the supercharged bracket kit. So that was $700 and something. I bought that because I was under the impression that you could just downsize that kit and run the NA, and then whenever you're ready to go supercharged, put the parts on that weren't used, right? That wasn't the case. There are different parts inside the package. So I had to buy the NA alternator bracket and an NA belt, which that was $169. So then $400 for fluids, upper and lower radiator hose, miscellaneous bolts, spacers, and then my uncle hooked me up on the labor. I go ahead and say it's family price. I paid him $1,000 because I was there helping him. We did it in about 4 days. I think that's a very good price, being that we're family. And he hooked me up. I asked him if he wanted more, and he said we're good. So yeah, that is gonna definitely go up if you guys do it with somebody else or you pay a shop to do it. You can definitely do this by yourself, guys. On jack stands, it's crazy. Shout out JD2 Valve. We had a pain in the ass mounting up the K-member spacers and the K-member with the motor and everything on a lift. I cannot imagine this on jack stands. It's doable though, guys. It's not hard. So that was $1,000, and then I ended up just spending $700 on 3-inch exhaust. I got a 11 to 14 H pipe, 3-inch H pipe, some cutouts and some dumps and Magnum Flow mufflers. That ran me about $700. I don't recommend that if you guys are gonna stay NA. The gains were minimal. I'll post up the 60 to 100s pulls that I did, 2.5 to 3-inch. It did make a gain, it just wasn't that crazy, right? So this is my old 2.5-inch setup. If you guys have BBK swap headers, this is literally made for the BBK swap headers. So it actually has the bend and everything that you need for the swap headers. So those are the mufflers, and then these are the tailpipes. So if you guys need that, hit me up. I still have those. It's all 2.5-inch stuff. It didn't make a big difference NA. So one thing I want to mention, you guys are probably like, okay, Chris, what about transmission? What about clutch? What about all that stuff, right? So I didn't include the transmission into the cost because you can use your stock transmission. If you guys plan to baby the car, a couple pulls here and there, if you guys are gonna be banging gears like I have been, you either need a T56 or you need a built TR3650, the one that's in this car. You guys might be wondering, well, how did you get your speedo to work? I have a video on that already. Click that link right up there. That'll show you how to make the TR3650 work with your speedometer, and then you're good to go. But this Hanlon Motorsports TR3650 built, I have billet shift forks in there, bronze pads, badass synchronizers, 26 spline input shaft, pretty stout transmission, man. It's rated for 750 horsepower. We are definitely going to be getting after it with the TVS blower and seeing how much power this transmission can take. So that'll speak for itself, man. The transmission itself was about $2,500. Shout out Hanlon Motorsports, man. This transmission is badass. A T56, guys, is gonna run you a lot more than that because you need a bell housing, you need a custom drive shaft, you need some other stuff to make the T56 work, like a reverse lockout, stuff like that. It's a lot more than $2,500, and that's if you're getting a used transmission, which I don't recommend for this, man. If you guys are gonna do it right. Either get a brand new T56 Magnum or go a built TR3650 from Hanlon if you guys are gonna be beating on the car. The clutch that I'm running in this car is the same one that was on the 2-valve. I just had to replace the flywheel because my flywheel on the 2-valve was a 6-bolt. The Coyote takes an 8-bolt. So I'm reusing my stock single disc clutch. I'm not gonna recommend that clutch either. It's not that great. I paid for it from my own money, so no sponsorship there. But I don't recommend that clutch. So if you guys are gonna do a clutch, and you guys are gonna be getting after it with the power, please just do a twin disc. Mantic, McLeod, pick your poison. Do a twin disc, please. I wish I would have done that in the first place.
I wanted to interrupt real quick and just let you guys know I did forget about my automatic guys out there. So if you do automatic, whether you're doing a 6R80 or a 10R80, you can only run a 6R80 with Gen 1 and Gen 2. You can only run 10R80 with Gen 3 and up. So if you're gonna be running those automatic transmissions, which those are the only ones I recommend, I do not recommend doing a 4R70. I don't recommend, if you're gonna do anything, do a Turbo 400. But I don't recommend doing anything else besides the Turbo 400, 6R80, or 10R80. I would stay away from Gen 3 if you can. 6R80 is the way to go. Just know 6R80 automatic, the automatic game is going to cost you more. So like you'll need swap headers. Your swap headers are dependent on what transmission you use. So I know that with the 6R80 you'll need like a UPRK member, I believe, and you'll need ultimate headers. Ultimate headers are upwards of $1,500. So just remember that if you guys are going to go automatic. 6R80 for the win.
So a couple of things that I do want to recommend while you guys are there is on your AC. If you guys are going to be running AC, which I highly recommend on a street car, you guys saw in the couple videos that I started driving, this AC line busted because this AC line is super close to the headers down there. I heat wrapped it and it still popped. So this is the factory 96 line. All I did was take off the busted one and then I ran it on top, as you guys can see, and I put a couple 100 miles on the car. Nothing has busted, nothing like that. And then for my power steering reservoir mount, I got this from Cliff Hatcher. He's a subscriber of mine. He hooked me up with that. I'll post his information there if you guys want to hit him up for that. I'm just running a basic overflow bottle like a Fox body would to my radiator cap. I'm running breathers on the motor. I got an aftermarket fuel pressure sensor. Everything like that, man. This car runs like normal. I even have a two-step on the car. Whenever we take it to the drag strip, I put a two-step on the car. So we'll show you guys. Everything works as normal, man. Everything's freaking awesome. Put a boost gauge on it so it can be rigged up for the supercharger once we get there. Hear the Coyote start up. Perfect, man. Fuel pressure with the Corvette style regulator. Oil pressure is great. Vacuum gauge / boost gauge. I cannot figure out, you guys can see I have electrical tape there. I cannot figure out how to get the check engine light to turn off on the 2-valve. So your 2-valve PCM is still running the gauges and everything like that. So I cannot figure out how to turn that off. If anybody knows that, please let me know. End gauge. It's awesome, man. Everything runs as normal. The MagnaFlow exhaust, I definitely recommend, guys. If you guys are going to be doing like an adult-ish exhaust, I definitely recommend. Being able to run the end gauge is so badass. Shows you so many different parameters. Your charging, long-term fuel trim, spark, knock, engine coolant temp, all of that stuff, guys. I definitely recommend just doing this swap, man. It made the car so enjoyable. It sounds so good, man. Do not let the 2-valve and 4-valve purists, do not let them get under your skin and tell you to keep the old stuff, man. This is 100% worth it. I wish I would have did this sooner, guys. Everyone always asks me, what's your biggest regret in the swap? My answer is simple, is not doing it sooner. That's my biggest regret, man. I wish I would have put this on a credit card, man. that's how much I enjoy it. I don't recommend that, but that's how much I enjoy it, man. It's been so freaking awesome. It's awesome, man. I freaking love it. It's brought new feelings for the car. It makes me want to drive it. I've been daily driving it for the past couple of weeks. It is just awesome, man. The power NA is freaking awesome. And then the power supercharge is gonna be crazy. This is my supercharger kit, if you guys are wondering. We have a big enough pulley, or a small enough pulley I should say, to make around 740 wheel horsepower. So yeah, that's coming soon with an upgraded fuel system. But the Corvette regulator, guys, the fuel lines and all that stuff, that I posted a full video on that. That fuel system is badass, man. It's cheap, it's effective, everything works. This car's on E85, no issues, man. Everything is freaking great. But yeah, guys, I hope y'all take this with some good knowledge, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Coyote swap is 1000% worth it, guys. I do not have any regrets doing this. Like I said, the only regret I have is not doing it sooner, man. This is freaking awesome. You guys enjoyed this video, man, please drop that thumbs up down below. Like I said, share this video with your buddies, make them Coyote swap their cars. If you guys have any questions, man, drop them down in the comments down below. I respond to every single comment. If you guys want to hit me up personal, hit me up on my email, 4.6chris@yahoo.com, or on my Instagram at Reyes. Gotta go, guys. My camera's about to die. I love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.